Luke, as an offensive coordinator, what do you like about starting with the ball to take that choice to receive?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's always nice to be able to get out and get going right away. I think that's something that you know benefits the guys. They're prepared. That you get those openers that you kind of plan and go through, and they're ready to rock and roll, chomping at the bit. So it's been going pretty well for us.
And what do you like about that first drive? How it all came together?
Yeah, no, I mean there was a bunch of cool things, right, that showed up. We had situational football that the guys executed really well in, we had the fourth and one we had to overcome too, and so a lot of cool stuff that we overcame, and obviously finishing it off. Cole made an amazing play. Tyson did a nice job giving him opportunity to make that catch, and good way to cap that thing off.
What did you like most about what Tyson did in the first 3 quarters, and then what are the coaching points and some of the interceptions that he threw?
Yeah, no, I thought he played a pretty solid game. You saw him manage it. We went into that game, just from how good of a defense that was, and evaluating how other teams had success against them. We knew him using his legs was going to have to be a part of that equation, and he did a great job finding those escapes and getting the most out of them too. Not just getting the minimum. He was doing a really nice job of extending those things and playing on the move. And then, we were able to get him out of the pocket a little bit, on top of himself getting out of the pocket. And I thought he handled himself really well in those moments. He was accurate with the football. We had a lot of third down conversions versus a team that was, I think, that was second in the NFL at the time, right, last week. To be able to do that, did a really nice job handling the protection adjustments, and was able to get the ball out of his hands and avoid taking those sacks against a really good front. So I thought all those things were really good that he showed.
With the walkthrough yesterday, how much can you evaluate Justin's ability to throw the football when it's not a practice setting?
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll just come down to Justin, the training staff, coach, and Ryan figuring out where they want to be and all that stuff. I think when you're in this moment, you're kind of out of that conversation from my perspective.
Putting together game plans, like concurrent game plans, one for agent fields, like how much variance is there in what you would do based on which guy plays quarterback?
Yeah, I think we talked about this last week. I think that's the cool part about how we put this thing together at the very beginning, where we felt like we kind of put it all out there for our guys, and being able to take this thing in a few different directions, and the guys feel really comfortable in doing that. So I don't think from everybody else's perspective in that room, other than the two quarterbacks, it's not gonna feel like it's a different game plan by any means. If we go one direction or the other.
Can you scheme around? If Justin's not 100%, but he can play, can you scheme around maybe some of the routes might not work as well for him, or maybe you don't run him as much, maybe some of the mesh points are a little more of a concern? What parts of that can you plan around if he is going to play?
I mean, with anybody that's in a situation that they're, not able to do something, that happens in the middle of games, that happens in your preparation. So you're obviously going to take those things into consideration. No matter whether that happens during the game or in your week leading up to it. So yes, I guess the answer to you is yes. Is whatever that is. We don't have KB this week, right? So we have to have a plan of how we're going to attack somebody without KB. So you're always going to have those battles that you're going to have to work through, whether it's during or during the week.
What's your confidence in Justin being able to navigate that?
So, I'm sorry.
What's your confidence in Justin being able to navigate that type of situation where he has to play with some limitations?
Well, he's proven that already, right? He's as tough as they come. So there's been plenty of moments in the 2 years I've been with him that he's communicated really well and then showed his toughness and played through stuff.
When he is back in the saddle and running the offense again, what do you set as his kind of growth targets for the last, whether it's 7 games, 8 games, whatever it may be for him down the stretch of the season?
Yeah, I don't think there's to say a target that makes it very specific. I don't think that's that. I think it's to continue to grow, right? It's to continue growth. It's to continue to improve on his overall game, right? On every aspect of it, both the run game, the protection game, and the pass game. And it's really important that we continue to grow, and keep going where we think he can go.
What stood out to you about Tevin since he's been able to get back on the field here this season for you now that he's had a little bit of a stretch?
Yeah, no, I think Tev's playing well. I think. It reflects that in our run game, where we're finding success down that avenue, and he's He's firing off the rock. He's playing physical. He's finishing as good as anybody on the field. I think all that stuff has been really good. Really positive stuff for him to continue to build on.
Luke, Cole's putting together a really nice season for you guys. What have you seen from him through the first half of the year so far?
Yeah, I mean it's that. Like I've said, he's a really balanced player. He's becoming a complete tight end in that aspect of his run game is getting really good. His pass pro is getting better, and then obviously the receiving part of it and his run after catch is improving. So I think that's the coolest part about his game is that he's becoming more complete each and every week.
Ryan and Matt were telling us, 6 months ago or whatever, about how you guys thoroughly vetted all the quarterbacks in the draft this year. Young, Stroud, all these guys. What was your evaluation of Bryce Young? What did you see in him?
Oh yeah, we were very impressed with him. We were at his pro day too, and very impressive. Accuracy was easy. That's the thing that stood out for the kid is no matter whether it was down the field, or under 20 yards or under 10 yards, the ability to get the ball quick. He showed a lot of that cool things that you're looking for in a guy to be a natural passer.
Luke, when you look back at the offensive play calls in the second half, did the Saints do anything defensively that asked Tyson to play more from the pocket those final 2 quarters?
No, I think at the end, I think somebody referred to in the fourth quarter, right? I think at the end they just did a really good job with all their line games and movements of kind of keeping him in that pocket, right? Where when you get in those moments of the game and you're more of a passing situation, teams are able to do that, right? They put 56 on the line, and then they're doing their picks and stunts, and I think it was the last one, right, that they picked Larry and then made the play, and so that's what happens, right? You get in those moments where they were mixing it up too, so they're rushing 5, they're doing their games, and then they're dropping 8, and so that's all good stuff that Tyson can learn from for sure.
Second to last drive, you guys took a deep shot to DJ on second down the left side, and then he came out for third down. How do you kind of explain the machinations of that, of not having your best receiver in for a key third down there late in the game?
Yeah, no, we took a shot, had the coverage that we wanted, took the shot, slightly overthrown, maybe didn't give him a chance quite, but close enough. But you're trying to get that 50-50 ball in the sense of down the middle of the field. If we can get the PI or you make the play, you're in great position to go win the game. And then, players do that all the time. And then the guys stepped up. I thought the guys executed the next play really well. I mean, Tyler and Cole did a great job of handling that concept on that side. Tyler was screaming across the field, and we have the utmost confidence in our guys. You always want your best players on the field, but if that's something that pops up in that moment, then the next guy's ready to step up.
Why wasn't he in? What causes him to come out there? I mean, it's just.
Well, I think in that particular moment, he probably pulled himself out after running a 60-yard route. I would imagine that's how exactly it happened. I don't truly know, but I think that's along the lines of what happened.
How has having English? You've had him now for 9 weeks. How does that allow you to go deeper in your DJ? Like, how does that allow you to go deeper in your playbook? Maybe than you were able to last year with a player of that caliber.
No, I think it's a credit to him. His football sense, his football IQ, all that stuff. You can see we've lined him up pretty much everywhere on the field now as the season has gone along, and he enables us to do that. I think it's a cool part of working with DJ. There's not really a limit to what he can take in each week that we where we line him in the backfield, put him outside, inside, left, right, all that stuff, and different type of route combinations he's comfortable with. So that's been really cool to work with him in that aspect.
Luke, are there ways that the offense has advanced and grown in the last 3 weeks while Justin has been hurt that you want to see continue once he is back?
I mean, I feel like we've continued to grow. I don't think there's a particular direction, that we won't continue to grow in that direction with Justin back in the reins. So I don't think there's anything that shows up that's necessarily different from our point of view. There's things that we emphasize with whatever players in the game for sure. And so I think we just, we continue to build on the fact that, like we just talked about, DJ's moving around, doing a lot of really cool things. Mooney's has a nice night. Cole's has a nice night. The backs have been running hard. The guys up front are starting to get a little bit of chemistry playing with each other. So we just got to continue to build on all that stuff.
When he comes back, are you going to be looking specifically at those sack numbers? Because I know with Tyson being in there last 3 weeks, he hasn't taken a lot. But Justin's last game, he took 4. And that's kind of been a consistent thing. Is that something you'll measure him on, like, however many more games he's able to play the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think that's something that we talked about. We looked in the offseason too. You have a guy who creates a lot of plays with his feet, and so you're going to get those 0-yard sacks sometimes, and you can't make a big deal too much about that when the next one's a 15, 20-yard gain for the same type of situation. So there's more to it, I think, than that. I think the thing that Tyson's doing really well, like you mentioned, is that those moments when he feels like he has to get the ball out or there's an issue that he's doing a really nice job of avoiding those.
How comfortable is Tyler Scott now and everything that you guys are asking him to do? Obviously, his playing time's gone up some since Claypool exited.
Yeah, he's definitely getting more comfortable. I think playing that position, I've mentioned this a couple weeks back, of just playing the wide receiver position for him is every rep that he gets is invaluable for him, that experience on the field. And now you can start to see him have a nice feel to matching our offense. So the different things we're asking him to do, whether it's in the run game or the pass game or even in the protection game, we're asking him to do a lot of that stuff, and he's getting a really good feel for all that stuff.
Tyson talked about on a couple of it, I think it was the second and third interception, just on the timing, but also they might have thrown it like a hair behind. I think Scott or Mooney on one of those. Is there anything he can do in season, like to make sure that he's got the same pace on all of his throws? Like, is there anything you can do to like improve arm strength in season?
Well, I just think that all that stuff. It's having the experience and getting those reps with throwing to those guys, right? I think that timing and rhythm part of it when he was really the fourth guy in training camp right at that time, and so he's catching up on all that stuff. They work really hard before and after practice to pick up that lost time, and I think just playing with the guys, you can see the comfortability is getting better each and every week. And slightly off on a throw or something, that's part of it, and then everyone else has to kind of pick up the slack of that too.
Luke, if Justin's playing and you have to take into account that he can play but maybe not do everything that you want him to do as well as he normally would, and I ask this because it's a short week, when would you and him make the call, get together and make that decision of, okay, maybe these parts of the game plan I can't really be in play this week?
I don't think there's a moment. I think that's going to be that would be a continuous conversation. I think that's in your week of prep. I think that's a pregame. I think that's a during the game conversation that in this instance, and really every instance that I would, we go into a game and we're on the sideline and we're talking, and if he's feeling something during the game or anybody's feeling that same way then during the game, then we'll lean toward those areas as well too. So I think that's just a constant conversation that we would continue to have. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. First three, do you expect that to be 2 or more by the end of Thursday night?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we always have to be ready every week for anything that could happen. So we talk about that situationally every week. We want to be a smart situational football team at all times. So we pride ourselves on that. So just like every week, got to be ready. I mean, he's obviously a really good football player. Played against him a lot when I was with another team in a different division. So pretty familiar with him, and he's had an outstanding career. So we just got to make sure we're prepared for everything.
What did you take note of when you were obviously going against him on a regular basis?
Yeah, that he had tremendous leg strength. He was a master at his craft. Obviously, we know he can throw the football. Obviously, we know that. And all the stats that come with that, how many attempts he's had and all that, 15 out of 21 or whatever it is. I mean, so what I took from it was just a really good player that can not only punt the football, but is a weapon in other areas. So I always liked the challenge of going against him in that division because they were a good unit, and you always want to play the best. So looking forward to it this week. Obviously looking forward to the opportunity of our guys getting another opportunity to play on Thursday Night Football. Phenomenal. The look in their eyes today. They're fired up. They're ready to go. And they're familiar with the schedule. Obviously, we've done this before. It's a little different because we're playing at home, but they're familiar with the schedule. Coach has done a phenomenal job with the schedule, keeping everything like it was, so that these guys can go out and go out there and have some fun again, have some success.
You mentioned primetime. Is that the right time for you to roll out your first fake?
I'll never tell you when we're doing the first fake, Biggs. But whatever fake we call, we'll name it in your honor.
Yeah. I mean,
Brad, that's pretty good, though.
26 games, you haven't run one yet.
Yeah. So?
So it could be the element of surprise here.
It couldn't be. Who knows? We can never say that in the media.
What's Trendants aren't like?
Never say that in the media either. But good questions, guys. Yeah, good questions.
On their missed field goal, did Kyler get a hand on that? I know he wasn't like officially credited with anything on the stat sheet, but it looked like him closing in. Did that cause that to go left?
Yeah, I definitely think Kyler was a factor on that play on the missed field goal. He had outstanding pressure on that, and that was a big stand for us, obviously for our defense to play and stand up in that situation when they were put in that situation. Obviously, from the previous play, they stood up, and then for our field goal team to play complementary football along with our defense and Kyler to have that pressure off the edge, I definitely believe it spooked him and he yanked it. So that was outstanding, and it gave us a chance to get the ball back and potentially go down and have a chance to win the game. So.
Is Homer okay for you guys?
Homer?
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about on that one play? Yeah, he's okay. You know what? Homer is freaking tough, man. He is a tough, productive football player, and he is okay. I mean, he took a shot at that returner on that first one, which he was flying around all day, flying around on punt return. As you guys see, he got close, nearly close to blocking the kick as well. So he is doing well, and I mean, he always flies around. And whether he gets knocked down, he'll get right back up. You guys saw that last week in the Charger game when he got knocked down on that one and he got up and he made the tackle against that dynamic returner. So I feel like 2 weeks in a row we went against really dynamic players. Obviously, you saw that last night when number 12 went to the house from the Chargers that we played the previous week. And I thought our punt team did a great job, Homer included, against New Orleans, because that kid had been to the house before. So we just got to keep doing that. So
on the near block, was that a call where you're guessing that they're going to try kind of that college style punt there, where they roll out to the right a little bit?
Yeah, that's a great question, Big. So that's called a roll punt. What we call it is a roll punt, and when that happens, the officials will immediately point, which means you can now cover the snapper. It's no longer a standard formation. It's a non-standard punt formation. And anytime there's a non-standard punt formation, you can cover the snapper, and the punter also loses protection, right? So he rolls out. He also loses protection. So Travis was very, very close on that one. As you guys can see, he was running, and then he put his hands up just a little too early, which slows down his speed. So the coaching point on that is to stay a sprinter all the way through the block point and shoot your hands low and late. We always talk about sliding our hands off the end of the table and shoot them low and late. So as I'm running and I'm rushing and I'm closer, am I closer to blocking the punt? Here or here, you know? So he just got to stay a sprinter, gain that extra momentum, 1 or 2 more revolutions, and then shoot. And we probably would be talking about a huge play. And he is really disappointed about that. Is why I really like him, because it hurt him. It hurt him, and he wanted to make make that play for the team so bad.
So you can hit the punter then, right? He's got.
Yeah, he loses protection. So yeah, we were trying to block it though. So.
Anything you saw in Cairo's miss?
Yeah. So first of all, Cairo's miss. Obviously, I'm disappointed there for the whole operation. You know, our whole operation, I'm disappointed for because those guys work so hard. And up until this point, up until that kick, all of their hard work and everything has paid off for them, and they've been phenomenal all year. They've been phenomenal up until that last kick, and they've seen the results of their hard work. But the truth is, it was an important kick for us because it was at the end of the half, okay? So at the end of the half, we always talk about situational football, all right? And that's either finishing with points or finishing with the ball. And we had an opportunity to finish with points there, and we didn't get that done. That's a huge emphasis, not only in my room, but from the team level too. Like Coach talks about that in situational football. So obviously we wanted to be better in that situation because situational football is important to our whole team. So the operation wasn't as clean as we like it to be. But what I love about it is we talked about last week, and we always talk about one snap and clear. All right, so he had an opportunity, all right, to take the lead before half. We didn't get that done. But we come back and we kick again in the third quarter when it's 17-14, right? And they have an outstanding operation, and he came back one snap and clear, made his very next kick. The operation was very good the very next time, so we tied it 17 all, and that was good to see.
Operationally on the miss, what did you see?
Yeah, I just saw that the operation wasn't clean, all three of us. So it's nothing, it's not, and when we make a kick, it's always all three of us, and when we miss a kick, it's always all three of us. And that's the way it'll always be.
Cairo, he looked stunned afterwards. You obviously know him so well. He's been so good for you guys. As a coach, how do you manage that? What's your conversation with him like after something like that?
Yeah, you just got to know the player, right? And you got to know his mannerisms, is why you spend so much time with him and form a partnership with him. And you just say, as a coach, what you need to say to him. Most of the time at this level, these guys already know what happens. And a veteran like Cairo knows as soon as he comes off. Scales knows as soon as he comes off. And Trent has gotten that way just because of the leadership of them as well. So that makes it easier as a coach because when they're saying what you're about to say right before it, that means you're all on the same page. And that's what happened in that situation.
Richard, as you're coaching Halas, where do you find the line between wanting to give him opportunities to improve in games and saying the errors are too costly for us?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. And then you're referring to the penalty that he had in the game?
Yeah, and other errors throughout the season. And
Yeah, I'll just talk about that play in general because that's the play that happened. So that is a bad penalty. And here's why that's a bad penalty. All right, we're in a backed up punt situation. All right, Trent's punting out the back of the end zone, basically, which is a tough punt to execute that doesn't happen all of the time. Trent hits a phenomenal ball. All right, out past midfield. We have phenomenal coverage by the gunner on the right side with Darrington. We have elite coverage with Roshan coming down the field, cutting off the field return. And it's a 6-yard gain versus one of the top punt returners in the NFL. And we have a penalty, which is a bad penalty, 20 yards away from the play, which then moves the ball 15 yards close to right outside field goal range. So our defense held, and Kyler, which we talked about earlier, forced the missed kick from their kicker. But that is unacceptable. It's an unacceptable penalty. And why? Because we pride ourselves on situational football. In that situation, we could have had the ball at the 50-yard line against an outstanding punt returner. And that was a beautiful punt by Trent and beautiful coverage. And it's just unfortunate that we have to talk about that part of the play because that's what happened. So it's unacceptable.
Everything was perfect, basically.
Everything was perfect other than that part of the play. So we'll take the positives from that and grow.
I know EQ is coming off IR, or potentially coming off IR.
Mm-hmm.
I know you don't use him much as a punt gunner. Can you? And what would the benefits be for someone like that maybe to get in the mix there at some point this season?
Yeah, Courtney, I think they just opened his window at this point, so I'm not sure if he's playing or not playing. But he's worked on that before. He's played that for us. He's played, kickoff coverage for us. He's played in different areas, but I don't know if he's going to play or not. But he's done that in his career, and just like all the wideouts are trained, to play. Other than number 2, we're not using number 2, but everybody else we'll use. Good. All right, thank you.
Andre, as Eddie worked back into the mix the other day, what did you see overall, just in terms of his ability to get back in there? And obviously, he said he kind of felt like he cleared a hurdle and being able to get through the whole game there.
Yeah, that was good to see him back out there. He definitely, had some energy about him. I thought he made some really nice plays, made some good coverage adjustments. Some things having not played for a while that it should certainly be better this week. But I was pleased with where he started last week. He did a nice job.
When you went back and looked at the film, what kind of impact did you feel Montez had in the limited time that he got last week?
Yeah, for a guy to come in and kind of get engulfed in the playbook and all the stuff mid-season is kind of tough. And the credit to him because I thought he did a really nice job. He has some nice pressures. I mean, he plays with great effort and energy and strain. I saw him chase down the quarterback, tasting him from the backside. And so we're just looking forward to more good things out of him.
Jalen Jones has filled a couple different roles for you on defense this season. What has he done with the opportunities that he has been given?
Well, the main thing is he's been ready for him. He's been ready for him. He's improved. He played some last year. He kind of got thrown in there early on in his career and learned a lot. And this year he's come back and he's got confidence and focus. I mean, the second year for a DB in this year league is a big difference, and not just on defense, but he's doing the same thing on special teams. I mean, the guy, he brings energy. He's accountable to his teammates. I'm kind of really pleased that he stepped right in and the moment wasn't too big for him.
Andrew, when you're coaching, obviously there's a lot of forward focuses, head down, next opponent, next man up. But when a player you're close with like Jaquan goes through what he's gone through the last couple of weeks, how does it hit you?
Well, you never take it for granted. I mean, the things that he does. I mean, and all the little things that he can do. Jaquan's a really good player because he has a unique skill set. He can do a lot of different things. Like he can pressure the quarterback. He fits runs good. He's good in his quarters and his half, and he's got juice. He's got juice, and we and our team kind of feeds off of that. So having him work his way back in practice and do whatever the medical people have him doing, and just getting closer to playing, which is great for us.
When he goes through something though, where he has a concussion, he has an illness, he's trying to sort through it all. How do you kind of deal with that on a human to human level with a player that you care about?
Well, yeah, we definitely care about our people here. People are always first in this building, and I always have a special bond with all my guys throughout the history, and I love seeing them when they come back, and me and him will have a special relationship for years to come. But definitely always have the player's best interest at heart, always looking to do right by him. And, just you have to take each case as an individual basis. Nobody's the same. And they all kind of have their own timetable. But he's a special one. In my heart, he's a live wire, which I love about him.
I imagine it's a close bond with Eddie as well. How's he handled the uncertainty of dealing with this injury, trying to get back and probably wondering kind of what he has after this injury?
Well, it's a day-to-day thing, just like all, no injury is the same. There's a day-to-day, and I would say that just like anything else, you have to work through tough times, and usually you come out better and stronger for him. I mean, he's doing everything that the medical staff and all those people are asking of him, and that's all he can do, and he has a great attitude doing it.
Another thing on Brisker follow-up to what Dan was asking. 2 concussions in 2 years, and he's had a lot of injuries along the way. Do you worry about his future in the NFL? Just seems like there's always something.
Yeah, well, it's a tough deal, and some guys get nicked up, and that's a part of it. He does a great job of taking care of his body. I mean, he works out like crazy. I mean, he lifts, he stretches, he does all the things that are conducive to prolonging your career. And I just think certain, things happen sometimes.
As you looked at Carolina, Thielen's obviously become a go-to guy for the young quarterback. What do you see in terms of him as a receiver, and then just kind of the chemistry that he's developed quickly with the quarterback?
Thielen's been a really good player for a while, and he's been a thorn in my side for a while too. I've seen him multiple times. Even when he was in Minnesota, when I was out in Seattle, it felt like he was in our division. But this guy knows how to get open. He knows how to find voids. He knows how to read coverages. And for a young quarterback to find that safety within him, knowing he's going to be where he needs to be when he needs to be there, I think that's the key. And I think the young quarterback has found trust in him. And he's delivered. He most certainly has. He's got 60-plus quick catches. I mean, he's having a really good season.
Thanks, Andrew.